You see the flashing red and blue lights in your rearview mirror. Your heart skips a beat. You pull over, hands visibly on the wheel, preparing for the standard routine. License, registration, maybe a question about where you're headed. But what if the officer approaches and instead asks, "Do you know why I really pulled you over?" Or, "You seem nervous. Is there something in the car you shouldn't have?" This isn't small talk. These are new, psychologically sophisticated questions designed not to gather information, but to manufacture your consent, establish probable cause, or elicit a confession, all before you even understand what's happening. They are, in effect, legal traps disguised as conversation. Understanding their design is your first and most critical line of defense on the side of the road. This guide is a comprehensive examination of the modern traffic stop as a forensic interview. We will deconstruct the psychology behind the questions, the legal objectives they serve, and the precise, principled ways you can navigate them without compromising your rights or escalating the situation. This is not about beating the system or encouraging unlawful behavior. It is about informed citizenship, understanding the boundaries of police authority, and ensuring your constitutional protections remain intact during a high-stress, inherently unequal encounter. The anatomy of a trick question, objectives, and psychology. A traffic stop is a temporary seizure under the Fourth Amendment. From the moment those lights flash, the officer is conducting an investigation. Their primary goal may start as a simple citation, but they are trained to observe, assess, and probe for evidence of larger crimes. The trick question is a tool in this probe. Its success relies on several psychological pressures. The authority gradient. The officer is in a position of commanded authority. There is a deep-seated, socialized instinct to comply, to be polite, and to answer questions put forth by an authority figure. Stress and cognitive load. The stop is stressful. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for careful reasoning and judgment, is impaired. You are more likely to give instinctive, compliant, and often regrettable answers. The illusion of informality. These questions are delivered conversationally, breaking down the perceived formality of the encounter. They feel like a dialogue, not an interrogation. The presumption of guilt. Questions like, "Is there anything I should know about?" subtly imply that there is something to know. They pressure you to prove a negative, a logical impossibility. The legal objectives are straightforward. Elicit a consent search. The Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable searches. A warrantless search of your vehicle is presumptively unreasonable unless you give voluntary consent. The entire preliminary conversation can be engineered to lead to the voluntary question. "You don't mind if I take a quick look, do you?" Establish probable cause. Probable cause is the legal standard needed to search your vehicle without a warrant or consent. An officer needs specific, articulable facts. Your answers, a slurred word, a contradictory statement, an admission of coming from a party, or the smell of air freshener you nervously justify, can be woven into the affidavit of probable cause. Secure an admission of guilt, for the traffic violation itself or for a more serious crime. "Do you know how fast you were going?" is not a request for data. It's an invitation to confess to speeding. "Any drugs in the car?" seeks an outright confession. 2. Deconstructing the questions, the playbook exposed. Here, we will analyze specific question archetypes, their hidden purpose, and effective, lawful responses. The guiding principle is always, be polite, be calm, and assert your rights without confrontation. Archetype 1. The presumptive why. Question, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" Or, "Do you know how fast you were going?" The trap. This is a direct invitation to self-incriminate. Any answer, "I was speeding, my tail light is out, I didn't come to a full stop," is a confession that provides the officer with all the evidence needed for the citation and destroys any future defense in court. It also sets a tone of admission. Recommended response. A polite, non-committal answer. "I'm not sure, officer," or, "You'll have to tell me, sir/ma'am." This is not dishonest. You may have theories, but you are not required to diagnose the officer's reasonable suspicion. You force them to state their reason for the stop, which establishes its legal boundaries. Archetype 2. The fishing expedition for probable cause. Question: where are you coming from? / where are you headed? / what have you been up to tonight? The trap. These seem innocuous, but they're diagnostic. Inconsistent, nervous, or suspicious answers, e.g., coming from a club late at night, can be cited as indicators of possible impairment or criminal activity. They are building a narrative. Recommended response: you have no obligation to answer these questions. A polite, vague, and non-incriminating answer is safest. I'm headed home, or just running some errands. If you are uncomfortable, you may legally say, I prefer not to discuss my day, officer. Am I free to go? This asserts your right to silence without invoking it in a confrontational manner. Archetype 3. The manufactured nervousness. Question: you seem really nervous. Is there a reason you're so nervous? Or your hands are shaking? Why is that? The trap. This is a masterful psychological play. It pathologizes a perfectly normal physiological reaction to police authority, stress, by getting you to engage with the premise, oh, sorry, I just get nervous around police. You're confirming this symptom they can later use to justify extended detention or a search. The driver exhibited extreme nervousness. Recommended response: do not accept the premise. A calm, simple response: I'm just respectful of the situation, officer. Or, I'll be okay, thank you. This acknowledges the comment without validating it as suspicious behavior. Archetype 4. The pretextual mistake. Question: after returning your documents, so, just to be safe, you don't have any guns, drugs, or anything illegal in the car, right? The trap. The stop appears to be winding down. This question is deliberately broad and disarming. A reflexive no can be interpreted as consent for a follow-up or used to pressure you further. A hesitation or a qualified answer, just my prescribed medication, gives them a new line of inquiry. Recommended response: a polite, firm closure. Officer, I believe you've already returned my documents. Am I free to leave? This refocuses the encounter on the original violation. If pressed, you can say, I don't answer those kind of questions. Am I being detained? Archetype 5. The direct consent ambush. Question: you don't mind if I take a quick look around your car, do you? Or while we're waiting, can I just peek in the trunk? The trap. The phrasing is designed to elicit a compliant, sure, or go ahead. That is legally binding consent. They have framed it as a minor, cooperative favor, not a consequential waiver of your Fourth Amendment rights. Recommended response: this is the most critical moment. You must deny consent clearly and unambiguously, but politely. Officer, I do not consent to any searches of my vehicle. Memorize this phrase. Say it calmly. You're not being rude. You're exercising a fundamental right. An officer with probable cause will search anyway. Without it, you have just preserved a powerful legal challenge to any evidence found. Archetype 6. The baiting challenge. Question: if you have nothing to hide, you wouldn't mind if I looked, right? The trap. This invokes a pervasive but legally false dichotomy, that innocence equals the surrender of rights. It is a moral and social pressure play designed to make refusal seem like an admission of guilt. Recommended response: stay principled and calm. It's not about hiding anything. It's about my constitutional rights. I do not consent to a search. This demonstrates you are informed and not merely being obstructive. Here is a moment for your own judgment. If an officer, after you have politely declined to answer questions, says, why would you lawyer up if you've done nothing wrong? What is the core constitutional principle they are attempting to undermine? Pause and consider your answer. We'll explore in the comments. 3. The legal framework. Your rights in real time. Your toolkit consists of 3 constitutional amendments. The Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. The traffic stop is a seizure. The search must be based on probable cause or consent. Your mantra: I do not consent to any searches. The Fifth Amendment guarantees the right against self-incrimination. You have the right to remain silent. You must invoke it unambiguously for it to fully apply. Officer, on the advice of counsel, I am invoking my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. However, during initial detention, Simpler non-answers, as outlined above, are often more practical. The Sixth Amendment, the right to counsel. During a traffic stop, this typically attaches only after formal arrest. However, clearly stating, "I want a lawyer," is a powerful invocation that should cease most questioning. Critical realism. Asserting your rights may not get you out of a ticket. Its purpose is to prevent the situation from escalating into something far more serious. A felony charge based on evidence obtained from a consent search you felt pressure to allow. The ticket is a minor civil infraction. A drug conviction is life-altering. 4. The script for survival, a step-by-step flowchart. Prepare. Keep your license, registration, and proof of insurance easily accessible. When pulled over, turn on your dome light, if at night. Place hands on the wheel, and be polite. The initial exchange. Provide your documents when asked. You're legally required to do so. Navigate the questions. For any question beyond identifying yourself and the purpose of the stop, employ the polite deflections or non-answers discussed. The search question. If asked for consent to search, clearly and politely deny it. I do not consent to any searches. Assess detention. If the encounter drags on, ask, "Officer, am I being detained?" or "Am I free to go?" If detained, ask for the specific reason. If free to go, leave calmly and promptly. If arrested, state clearly, "I am invoking my right to remain silent. I want a lawyer." Then, say nothing more until your attorney is present. Conclusion. Knowledge as armor. The modern traffic stop is a forensic interaction. The friendly banter is a tactical tool. By understanding the design behind these new, sophisticated questions, you shed the role of a passive subject and become an active, informed participant. You reclaim the power of the word no, not as defiance, but as a dignified assertion of the freedoms our legal system is built upon. This knowledge is your armor. It allows you to navigate this high-pressure situation with calm, clarity, and principle, ensuring that a simple traffic infraction does not become a gateway to a profound and lasting loss of liberty. If you found this deep dive into your rights valuable, imagine what a full case analysis or a breakdown of police report tactics could reveal. To stay informed and empowered, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Your freedom may one day depend on the knowledge you gain here.